Good morning and welcome to Gruber Power Services Power Hour. My name is Claude Dixon.
And I am Elvis Venter.
Well, we have some good news for you. Actually, we have quite a bit of good news. We want to start off just by thanking you first again for watching this podcast, supporting us. And we're like moving along here with subscribers. Last Friday when we were in here, we were at 721. We're at 776, I believe, right now.
You are correct.
Which is an increase of 55 in 1 week. So that's pretty incredible. We're averaging like 30 to 35 a week. So that's pretty cool. Trying to get to our goal. So if you're on right now and you have not subscribed, you should be able on YouTube to see a subscribe button. Just go ahead and hit that button so we can watch the number change. We do have a goal that we're shooting for and a raffle that we would like to conduct next Friday, which is the 27th, if we hit 1,000 subscribers. Elvis, we're like 224 subscribers short.
We're so close, and it's so easy to. I think it's a very simple task to achieve. Even between me and you, I think it is.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Let's sidebar here. How many have you brought in at least yourself? At least 100 to 150 people in subscriber. I'm embellishing, but I'm gonna live in my world today, and my understanding is I know you've been working really hard to get people. So I did the math. If we need about a 200 plus, 224, 25 people, 20 people get 10 each, 20 people get 15 people each, and we're done.
Yeah.
And we get to 1,000, and then we're gonna raffle off next week Friday the flat screen TV.
Yeah, and let's show that. That's image 007. So whoever wins that TV next week,
and you have to be
just
tuned
remember.
in.
Yeah, go ahead.
You have to be tuned in. You have to comment, and towards the end of the show, that's when we're going to do the raffle, like we did last time a few months ago for the other prize that we had for the Smart Ups and some swag. So this time, you really stepped up the game, and you really did a great challenge.
Can I just reiterate something?
Please.
Just coming from being involved with a lot of meetings and watching people do this motion. When you say something, and they walk out of there and forget exactly what you said.
Exactly.
So we want to reiterate.
Correct.
We want to reiterate one more time how you get this thing. This TV that we're showing, the 65-inch flat screen TV. Here's how.
It's a twofer.
Number one, we have to hit 1,000 subscribers by 10/27.
$9.99 won't work this time.
Or guess what? Guess what? There is no raffle if we don't hit the 1,000 subscribers.
No, there is, and I'm getting the TV.
You're crazy.
I mean, I've been working overtime getting people in. I'm getting that TV. It surprises me too. We're giving this away for free. If we don't get 1,000, we don't want it.
Yeah,
that's I'm gonna like what my children always say. This is what you got to achieve it. If you're not gonna achieve it, that means you just don't want it bad enough.
So number one, that's it. We need to be at 1,000 by 10/27 when we do the show. Number two, you have to watch the podcast that day
you have
on
to
the
chime
27th. You got to be on the podcast watching because at some point during that hour, we're going to ask for your information. Can you please send us through this thing that they're doing right now, your information, so we can take it and put it in. What are you going to put it in to shake it all up?
And I'm going to write everyone's name that's going to chime in and comment that day, and I'm going to put it in a hat. We're going to shake it, and we're going to pick a name out of the hat, like old school, how we do it. And it's worked. Last time, Lenny was genius. He had a bunch of friends and family jump on that day, and one of his family member won it. And that's really great. You get more people in, and you have access, and that goes to everyone this time.
Well, for all the new people, the first raffle was a small UPS, a single-phase UPS that you would use at home.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, to back up your computer. So those two things right there are critical. So if you don't watch the podcast, then you have no chance.
Yeah.
You have no chance of winning. And let me tell you something. There's not that many people watching the podcast. When you look at the subscribers, we're probably like last week, I think it was 43 people off and on. So when you're thinking odds, you might want to watch
Are in
the
your favor.
podcast.
Are
You might
in
want to
your
watch
favor.
it. Yeah.
Lenny was smart. He had a bunch of family that were all related, and someone wanted within the family. Great. My 13-year-old asked, he said, "Hey, Dad, can I tune in that day?" I'm like, "Dude, you're at school." He said, "Can I get on the computer?" I'm like, "No, you're going to get in trouble."
Yeah.
But he had the same ideas. Like, "Hey, I want a TV." I'm like, "Why do you need a TV?" Well, whatever. So we encourage everyone to get on. We're so thankful and grateful and appreciative of every subscriber that we have, that others get, and we just encourage. And if we have anyone new watching today, please jump in on the comment section. Tell us where you're from. Give us your name if you're comfortable with that, and just drop a line. And if you're in the space, you're in the UPS world, drop some knowledge on us. Drop some experience. Tell us what you're working with, what you've been through.
Right.
Spoke to a customer today. I'm crossing my fingers he's going to jump on today. And I got a really cool story once he jumps on, because I want to share it. But that'll only activate the story if he comes on today.
Yes. So next week also, in addition to that raffle, we have a special guest that's going to be appearing. And again, I'm not going to
the special guest.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you what the individual's name is, but he's external to our company. He has provided over the course of, I think it's been 20 weeks now since we've been doing this. He's been providing, bits and pieces of information to help us improve, to help us get more subscribers. And he had some really wonderful ideas. So we thought, since he subscribed early and has been participating, we would bring him on the show. Now he's going to be flying in here from Northern California. He gets in here, I believe, next Thursday. We're going to bring him in the production studio.
Very excited to meet him. Very excited to have him on.
Get him acclimated and all that. So you're going to meet this individual next Friday.
Go grab a lunch with him.
Yeah,
really. Yeah, because he's been a key part. He's the third host that has never showed up yet. He's the backdrop.
So secret, not even the crew back here knows anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys don't know who, right?
But I will give you one. Will give you one tidbit about this individual.
Oh, don't.
Okay, this individual is in gemology. He's a certified gemologist.
Okay.
Okay, and he and his family, his dad, they own 2 stores in San Francisco.
Okay.
This individual that's going to be on the show ran the one in the Fairmont Hotel. Who remembers that television series back in the, I think it was the late 70s, 80s, Hotel. Okay, that television series was filmed in the Fairmont Hotel. This individual actually ran that jewelry store in that hotel. So I'm looking forward to hearing about that. And his dad ran the one downtown on Post Street. So really cool. He's got a real varied background. I think you'll enjoy this individual when he appears.
Very excited to have him on.
Okay, and then after that, I don't know if you remember Justin Brownlow. We had him on a few weeks ago. We're going to bring him back on November 3rd to finish up our whole conversation on service. Justin's been out visiting with customers, doing site visits, that type of thing. So we've been unable to get him in. Mm-hmm. So his next available date is November 3rd. So next couple weeks, we'll have some other folks on the show.
I love it.
Yeah. All right. So what are we going to talk about today? Well,
I don't know.
I know what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about sand today. No, what we're going to talk about today is when to replace your UPS. When is it time, and what are some of the things that could happen that could prematurely force you to have to replace your UPS, and how do you go about doing that? Some of the questions that should be asked both on the sales side and also on the customer side. So we're going to start with that. And it's I want to start with image 45 because really this is kind of like what it's all about. If you remember last week, we showed this image. Look at this person's face. What do you see on his face, Elvis? Look at his face, his facial expression.
Me, he looks happy and clueless.
Yes. He looks like, man, I'm happy. I got this done. But meanwhile, he's losing dollars.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. And he doesn't know he's losing those dollars. Believe it or not, we see this scenario quite a bit in our profession, especially when it comes to old equipment.
Yep.
And when I say old equipment, I'm talking equipment that's, what do you want to say, plus 15 years old?
I would literally say plus 10 to 15 because they say industry standard after 10 years, but 15 and over, yes. And my only comment would be with APC modular, you can get away with if your frame and chassis is intact and it's still really operational, like a PX or an LX. But yes, in general, you want to, and even that, it's finicky. I'm not confident to say, oh, APC doesn't apply to. They do too because of structural damage, box damage, chassis damage, anything like that. The boards within the back plate. So 15 years you have to. And I know it's about, oh, well, I want to save money. No, it's...
Well, see, you hit it right on the head right there, Elvis.
Yeah.
What you said right there is, let's just call it for what it is.
Save that.
The truth of it is that you're not saving
You're
money.
not.
Because if you look at this image, those dollar bills floating out the back of that bag.
All day.
What is that? That's energy.
Yes.
That's what that is. You are working with, or you have an energy inefficient machine that's 20 plus years old that you're clinging to.
You know what's one of my mottos is, even in work, even in life, do it right the first time so you don't have to pay 5 to 10 times in 2-3 years.
Right.
I always tell them, like, even when I worked at construction 20 plus years ago, I said, let's do it right the first time because it's going to come back in a few years and bite you in the rear.
Yeah.
So do it right. Do it the right way, and it'll cost you less, and it'll be more cost effective. It'll be budget friendly. But you think you're saving a few extra dollars when you have a 30-year-old unit, a 20? No, you're losing money on the front end, on the back end, and on your whole operation.
And here's what's neat about this before we go into more detail is, one of the things that we put into place probably like 4 years ago, we being Gruber Power Services, is we put in the no-cost site visit to the customer. So, the customer doesn't have to right away out of the block spend money if they want to get an assessment done on their equipment.
Yeah.
And that has proven to be really, really successful for us in terms of dialoguing with the customer and getting them to understand and see how they're losing money, right? Because there's this other tool that we run. It's called the energy calculator.
Correct.
Where you can plug different numbers into it based off the VA of the machine, et cetera, and it comes up with, based off your load, it comes up with what you would save in energy.
Correct.
And in some of these scenarios, it comes out to thousands and thousands of dollars.
It does.
So you basically can cost justify new technology in your operation, okay, if you take the time to look at it. So there are 3 things that we want to talk here initially about what would cause you to have to replace a UPS. The obvious one is it's too old, but there are 2 other things that could occur that would force a premature replacement. And believe it or not, not all installs on equipment goes as planned. Okay. And things could happen at the site during commissioning that would cause a UPS to malfunction or something to burn up inside of the UPS or explode inside of the UPS, causing collateral damage that would force you to have to, guess what, buy another machine and replace it.
And even goes further than that. It can be from the beginning where you're miscalculating the footprint. You go in and you were told this and that wasn't the case. You went in and there was a different layout, different power, different utility, different connections. It has to start. It's really fascinating. First to second episode you ever did, you spoke about getting in front of everything and doing, I forgot the word you used for even like data centers and infrastructures of going to a customer site and finding out exactly what they need. The due diligence. There was another word you used, I remember.
For the inspection. Was it inspection?
But for the inspection, you use a specific like industry word, which it's like, man, you don't understand just to have all the right things in place and to be conscious of like what you have and what you're doing, and it can really save you. And it is really crazy when you even see a big customer, a customer that does have money, and they're just they cut corners. I had a customer a few weeks ago. He said he needs all this stuff, and he said he has the equipment. He just needs me to come install it. I was okay. Well, what's your load? I don't know. Well, what's your power? I don't know. What's your I'm like, I can't give you anything. I said, we need to do a site survey. That's going to cost. I don't think it's going to cost, but I don't know what you have there. So it shouldn't cost, but you're telling me all this. And he's like, oh, I think there's some batteries hooked up to the machine. I said, that sounds really weird.
Yeah.
I said,
and you know what? In a scenario like that, that's where that site visit is so
that's why I'm like,
valuable.
tell me, give me the information so I can go send someone out so we can get our eyes on it, so we can put boots on the ground and see what you have there. An assessment, an inspection, a survey is huge.
Now, assuming everything you're talking about is right.
Pans out,
Okay.
yeah.
So you get to the site, you're getting ready, you're in the process of installing the machine. Now the machine is installed.
Great.
Okay, the field engineer comes in.
Great.
Okay, the field engineer is not, and I'm going to say that again, is not an electrician. Okay, he is
Oh,
not.
that's so huge.
All right.
People don't always understand
Right.
that. They even think the field engineer is the one that does the electrical wiring.
Right.
No, those are two different functions, two different requirements.
Yes. So what we're able to provide in those scenarios, and it's something that you have to like follow up on because it's sent via email, and you know, customers are busy. The account manager on our end is busy, and sometimes this gets missed, but if it gets missed, it could result in a catastrophe on the site. And that is the installation checklist.
Yes.
That is signed off by both the electrician and the field engineer before the UPS is energized.
Yeah.
Okay. Big deal. We've had a couple scenarios over the 14 years here where that list was not used. And you know what? The wires weren't connected properly, weren't landed properly. You energize the UPS and you have collateral damage and you have to pull that machine out and replace. So that's a premature replacement.
Yeah, another premature where you're losing money, which you're gonna probably, if we could see your eyes, they'd light up with, like, you've heard this so many times. Customer buys a UPS and they tell us they need it and we send it to them and they get a call 6 months later saying we're installing it today.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing it 8 months. I had someone a year and a half later, and I said, buddy, you got to change all your batteries.
Yes. Well,
what'd you do?
That, and you're right, that's critical. But you know, the other thing that's hidden that not necessarily is brought out is the majority of the time that UPS is stored it's received, put on a receiving dock.
Not
and
a
then
good
it's
environment.
Stored, right. And then it's stored in a warehouse.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't know how many times this UPS could have been moved, could have been jerked around.
Yep.
Okay. And this is just not guessing on my part. This is reality. This is what happens inside of a warehouse.
Agreed.
You know, with forklifts and things like that. So again, one of the things that we stress is, hey, you need to have this unit installed within 30 days.
Environment is key. We had someone for an FE go out and the room was plus 80. And the customer's like, oh, I just replaced my batteries. I'm like, yeah, you just like forced your batteries a year age or something along those lines. Like, you just lost a year or two because they're required within 70 to 75 degrees or even between 68 to 73, let's say.
Right.
And it's an 80, and they're like, oh, well, I just bought the batteries or the power modules a year ago. I'm like, no, you don't understand the strain you're putting on your UPS when you're in a place with it's not over 75. We
and that's where we come in.
Yes.
Is like, you know, we need to take the time on the front end when we're selling to talk to the customer and find out what it is they know.
Where are you putting it?
Because some people just buy things. They'll just buy the batteries, and sometimes the customer doesn't even know when the batteries arrive.
Exactly.
And then the technical information just on, hey, you know what kind of environment are they going into? That's our job.
Agreed.
To educate that customer and to make sure that they understand what's going on when they buy products.
And our FB's job too, and that's where he does in the field service support. He did good. He reported it correctly. But in that same concept, and to stay on the theme of the picture you have here, is this: if you get a UPS and you install it 6 months later, that money scenario is you.
Yeah.
If you get a UPS and you're putting in a place that's not fit for it in the correct environment, that's you, and you don't even realize what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you're throwing away money. You're throwing away a situation that is so avoidable.
Okay, so let's talk about the second scenario where you could have a premature UPS replacement, and that's during normal operations.
Correct.
So what could happen during normal operations that would drive your UPS to potentially have to be replaced? What could that be?
Go ahead. What do you think?
Act of God, lightning strike. Okay, those types of things. We've had one of those where we had to replace a 500 kVA UPS because, you know, you have a surge of electricity and it fries the boards and everything. These things happen, you know, acts of God, things like that. destroy things. So that could also result in a premature replacement of a UPS that you weren't planning for.
Correct.
Okay, but the most talked about scenario is the third one, and that's end of life. So end of life for us, and when I say for us, the third party industry is 14 years. Okay.
Yeah.
The OEM end of life is 10 years. And why is that? Why is that?
Well, because they have parts, a brand new updated unit, business.
Yes.
It's a number of things.
Yeah, it's not that the UPS can't function anymore. Okay?
Technology updates all the time. That's technology. That's a
Yeah.
piece of technology.
Yeah. So
and everyone wants something new.
Yes. So that's where we come in.
Yep.
You know, we come in during that portion from the 11 to 15 year portion. We come in and we're able to maintain and keep that UPS running for another 5 years while you work out your budget or your CapEx or whatever it is you're doing to replace. Because even if that UPS is running at 15 years, you could be losing money like a sieve just in energy costs. So
that's a fair point you said. It's like we give you a window. We give you, like, even for our contracts, you get a message 6 months. Hey, you're coming to the air. It's coming to. We don't just call you tomorrow and say, hey, you have to replace your UPS in 2 days. Hey, that thing is coming to an end. Hey, your batteries need to replace with 1 week. No, we're budget conscious. We're understanding, like, hey, look, this is where you're coming to, and it's time to have a proactive plan. You want to hit some of the comments?
Oh yeah.
You guys good on this picture?
Yeah, we're good on that.
Yeah.
We're good on that. So YouTube, Gruber Motor Company, make us proud.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, hey, before we scroll up on that one, Gruber Motor Company also has a podcast.
Yeah, they do. I jump on it.
Yeah.
I'm subscribed.
And that podcast takes place Tuesday and Thursday, I believe, at 10. I think that's the Roadster podcast.
There's a few of them, actually. We got the regular EV one is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're changing that this coming week, though. So Tuesdays are going to be our podcast days for Roadster and EV, and then Wednesdays are going to be our AI.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one.
Wednesdays now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, that AI podcast. And then how about our communications division, Jesse?
And that one, that one's on Monday, and then you guys here on Friday. So we'll have 4 days total, and yeah, Claude, we'd like to see you maybe come be a guest on that AI one every now and then.
Yeah, if I could get who's the host on that?
So that's Pete and I do that one,
Pete.
And we'll do that on Wednesday, so you can show up.
Do you think Pete would be ready for me?
I think it would be a great show.
I'll jump on after that. I will be honest, ever since I started watching the AI, now I start picking it up in other places. I'm like, oh, there it is again, taking over the world. Like in a commercial, in a movie, in a show, like even when I'm working or at the office or when I go grocery store, I see AI. Like me and you saw the AI, what was it? The like ticket concierge or the vacuum or something that came in. No, it was like a host. Yeah. At a casino in Nevada.
And you know what I did?
It came to us, and I was like, Claude, don't look it to its eyes.
You know what I did? When it turned around, I scoffed at it and kicked it when it turned around.
It looked like R2-D2. And I was like, dude, but this show has been very enlightening too, because now I'm starting to realize it more, Jesse. I'm starting to see places where, man, it's really like
everywhere.
It's everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, but after Claude, I'll jump on if you guys are cool. I'm going to self-invite myself. I'm European. I have no limits or boundaries, so I'm coming up one day.
On there for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we have another comment from YouTube, Grant Mobile. I don't think that will fit in the overhead department on the aircraft.
The TV.
Okay, he's referencing the TV. Some of these are okay. And then YouTube again, Highlander, laugh out loud. I will if I'm not at work.
He'll jump on that Fridays. He will be available if he's not at work to get into the raffle.
And then P.S. Kindness is always free.
Hey,
by the way, Highlander, I still have not received your resume.
Email.
Yeah, you need to email that thing to me. Got everything else, though, your certs and all that.
Thank you very much. The books. The dictionary of your resume is a little too dense. We got to get an email out there, bud.
Yeah, give me.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, give me a standard resume. That would be great. And then YouTube, EV fan, I need a TV for my bathroom. Man, this guy must have a big house. They said that last
time, too. They really wanted it in their bathroom. Grant Mobile said per that picture of the crook, he said his face looks like it was ignorance.
Ignorance, okay.
True?
Oh, Highlander.
Ooh.
Awesome background, gang. Oh, yeah. You know what? We're coming to that, though, where you have something that can generate that amount of energy that can fly through space. And if you don't know, this is like one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time.
Who can guess on the?
Yeah, who knows what movie that is?
I want to see anyone that throws up per the image. What movie is that? And even to the production team, why don't you guys take a stab at it?
Can't Google it, though.
No, don't.
Okay.
And I know what it is because I actually rewatched the film.
Is it Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yes, it is. Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yes, it is.
With Richard Dreyfuss, a young Richard Dreyfuss. I believe this movie came out in 1984.
Yeah, he was kind of insane in that show, in that movie.
Yeah.
He like wanted to leave his family, and he's like, "Today, aliens, just take me with you."
Yeah.
I told you that's what I felt like. He just wanted to leave his responsibilities, and he's like, take me with you. It was a really good show, great movie.
Yeah. All right, Highlander again. When I mentioned several weeks ago using dry ice to clean electrical cabinets, picture of portable sandblaster, except it's using tiny little dry pellets with very, very low velocity. This is a very effective method for cleaning extremely old industrial electrical cabinets, such as steel mills and flour mills. Okay. What was he using again? Let's see a picture of a portable. Okay, portable sandblaster.
Dry ice.
Using tiny dry ice pellets with very low velocity. Okay. Is that all of them? Or do you need to scroll up?
I don't know much about the dry ice, but remember, time is money too.
Yeah,
Grab
time is
Nobel.
money too.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. And then another one from Gruber Motor Company. We use baking soda successfully, which is less aggressive than sand and protects paint, glass, and plastic. It makes even stained aluminum look brand new.
Yeah. I would go with the baking soda. It seems more safe and friendly. IT manager, be careful. Pete has some powerful views on AI. Yeah, because I'm still, you guys can't debunk my theory, and I think Pete's turning into AI. Mm-hmm. So I agree. He does have powerful views because I think he is turning into one. So it's very, very possible. Highlander, but what? No sunglasses hold a commercial? Sorry, that one went over my head.
He's asking for sunglasses commercial. The sunglass case holder.
You guys did that one.
Oh, okay.
You guys already did that one, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we usually do that with Gruber Motor Company since they're a Gruber Motor Company.
Oh, he wants a sunglass commercial for a Gruber Power? I mean...
Well, let him clarify it. He's on.
I have no idea.
Clarify for us, Highlander. Okay, the Scheffler family. Waving emoji.
Saying hi.
Okay.
Who's the Scheffler family?
Okay.
Wow, do you catch Scheffler family? Is that the Shelves?
No, that
Who's
is...
the Scheffler?
I believe that's somebody that works here upstairs.
Oh, awesome.
I think that's Kira.
Kira, that's Kira. Oh,
Yeah.
great to have you. Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the show.
And then Leonard Hodges, late as late can be, been elbow deep in equipment. Okay, I think Lenny just I guess he just started watching the show.
Pass. He deserves a pass. He's a hard worker. Highlander, he's calling you to it now. Finally, it's on its way tomorrow.
The resume?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
not
cool.
mail, email.
Yeah, email. All right, so let's get back into what we were talking about here. So let's talk about the type of UPS components and their life. So obviously you have battery banks, right? So you're talking 3 to 4 years there. You're talking
3 years is you have to. I say 3 years is the minimum.
And how many change outs is that during the life of a piece of equipment?
Would say let's do the 10-year industry standard. That's 3.
Yeah.
So you're good. 14 years, that's 4, maybe 5.
See, and
you get out of it.
Right. See, and that's the critical part, because when you get to that part of it, you ask yourself the question, hey, do I really want to swap out my batteries, especially if you're like at 12 years and you know you're going to replace your UPS. It's like, why spend that money when you can reinvest that money into a brand new piece of equipment?
And you know, with the batteries, I want to touch on this, and you know this very well, and Justin and a lot of us account managers have gone through this, and it's not that I don't recommend this because it's just a preference of mine and it's a pet peeve. No, this is industry. The professionals not only recommend it, they state that this must be done. When you have a battery module, we're going to go to SYBAT5, SYBT5. Let's say you have, we'll go with the PLP ones because there's a string of 4. When you have those battery modules and you change one out of the string, because it's a 3-year, that is not smart. That's not the way it goes. ABC, anyone, in the industry will tell you do not change in a string of 4 just one. It's the same thing in your remote. You can't change just one battery out of the 2.
Yeah.
You have to change both batteries. Then it'll work properly.
Yeah,
people try to get away with that and say, "Oh, well, I'm saving money." Actually, you're not.
Yeah, because what's happening within that string is there's 4 modules.
Correct.
But two of those modules work together.
Correct.
Okay, so you just can't change one. You have to basically change both.
And the whole point of having battery modules and batteries is for runtime. So they think that they're going to change one out of the 3. It's going to get them back to that or keep it. No, you're still losing runtime. You have to change the entire 4 strings so you can get the runtime that's desired and that a battery module can achieve.
Yeah.
And I have a big issue at times with that, where it's like, guys, you think you're saving money, but you're not.
Well, the bigger issue with that too is just how it affects charging.
That's the whole point.
You're going to undercharge one,
Yeah.
and you're going to overcharge the other.
Exactly.
So to your point on runtime, it actually over time will decrease your runtime.
And yeah, you think you're like one upping the UPS, and they know the technology is you have to change all 4.
Right.
And I had a customer, and when he did that one, he's like, he didn't see nothing. He changed all 4. He's like, Elvis, I just got X amount of runtime. I said, exactly.
Yeah. Well, let me bring it back because I want to make sure that our audience is following us. So what we're talking about is when to replace your UPS. So we're talking about one component, which is basically the heart of the UPS, the battery. So during the life of that UPS, you could have 3 battery changeouts. So when you get up to 15 years, you might want to think about that 4th battery change out before you do it because, if that's 2 strings of 40 batteries that weigh 100 pounds, you're talking thousands and thousands. You could be talking $15,000, $20,000 to replace those batteries. And then your UPS goes out a year later. You just wasted all that money.
You're done.
Okay, so that's one area that you should really consider later on in the life of that UPS. How about capacitors? What kind of life are you getting out of those?
Capacitors, you can get
AC, DC?
Yeah, you can get, they say 7 to 10, but if you really care about your unit and you want it to be always performing at a good consistency, 4 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
You always want to be proactive and preventative.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we have a department designated for that, to cater to preventative maintenance, to service. Let's get ahead of it. And I have big customers, casinos. Hey, I just had a power outage and I haven't changed the batteries in 4 years. I know.
Mm-hmm.
We've been sending you. We're trying to get. Yeah. Now when the issue has occurred, you're panicking.
Okay. So you're
4 to 5.
Okay, 4 to 5 to be proactive. I get that with the first capacitor replacement.
Correct.
Okay. But I'm thinking, do you really want to do a second? Because industry standard is every 7 years. So if you do the second one, you're at 14 years, which is 1 year away from, you really should be swapping out your UPS.
Yeah.
And even those capacitor jobs are $20,000.
Correct.
It's a major repair. It's the most intrusive repair that we perform.
If you could do every 7, then do that. If it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure you're get ahead of that. Have an FE there, making sure when he comes in and he gives us like, hey, those caps are coming, even though it's only been 4 years and you're expecting 7. That one looks off, and this one's fine.
But the question is at what point do I replace my UPS?
Your UPS.
So what we're
10 to 14.
Yeah, what we're walking you through are the key components that over the life of the UPS you're going to replace at some point.
Correct.
So before you get to year 14, which would be your second capacitor replacement, you should consider whether or not you really want to do that, or should I just invest those dollars into replacing the unit altogether.
And can I say something to, and I have a problem with that question being so general sometimes, and I'm going to challenge you on this, Claude. When should I change my UPS? When it's time. More than, I want 7, because you know what? It's kind of like the car dealership. Well, you said 10 years, and it's only 8. Well, you said 15 and it's only 12. It's like, no, look, this is what the industry suggests and from all their data, but it's also when that UPS is in a bad place. If it had a lightning bolt and it destroyed the case or the chassis, it's probably time then. If it's in a 3-year, 5-year span, your UPS might be done, unfortunately, I'm going to say, like a PX in 7 years, if the condition and the location it's in it's horrendous, or it's a tough spot, or let's say you're next to like, I knew a customer that was connecting their UPSs next to a thermal machine that was heating up glass and melting glass. You think that's in a good spot, that UPS, and it's not. So it's gonna lose. It has the potential and the risk to be maybe done within 5 years.
Well, here's the thing. I mean,
that's my thing.
But that's not normal operation.
No, it's not.
Okay,
but
so
it's still, and again, that industry standard is the general.
Yeah. So we're like talking through normal operation.
Correct.
Yeah. So the other thing associated with this too, in addition to normal operation, is you have fans and blowers.
Correct.
So the fans and blowers, it's a little bit tighter as far as the change out. You're talking, what, 5 years you're expert with fans and blowers?
I would say sooner, because it is fans and blowers of the dust, of the bearings. 4 to 5, depends on the fan. If it's a huge blower fan, then okay. If it's internal or external, because you have the top ones and then you have the inside ones. So it depends on the condition, but they say 4 to 5. I would say 3 years on the fan, because it's a really, and it's a very easy interchangeable part. It's one of the most easiest to change, and it's not a $20,000 replacement like caps.
Yeah. You know what? I was thinking back on your point you made on, it's time. You replace it when it's time.
Correct.
That's one of the things, when we get to key decision-making considerations, let's focus on what you said.
Please.
Okay. So now you have a UPS in a bad location. Okay. So instead of 10 years, this thing is running erratic at year 5.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that any smart person, any smart operations person would do internal to that facility is they would look at their operating costs.
Correct.
Okay. That's the reason why people collect data, run all these reports, you track and monitor your energy. Why has our energy spiked? And it turns out, you know what? We have this UPS in the wrong spot.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So I get that. I get that total and completely.
So yes, for the fans and the blowers, again, they say 4 to 5 because the blowers do more, and they're very big part. And then the fans can be changed. A fan in a power module to a fan on an assembly, a fan on within the inside of the UPS. So it could be 4 to 5. It could be 2 years. It could be 3 years. It's also, you'll know more when you look at the fan.
Yeah.
When you look at the fan and you pay attention to it, and you have an FE look at it, and if it's dusty or if it's shaking or if the bearings, or if a fan talks back to you, that's not a good sign. You want a fan to be, you don't hear it, it's smooth, everything looks good. So it's honestly, your UPS speaks to you. If your UPS is grumbling and making sounds, you shouldn't. Your UPS, and we provided a PX compared to an N-Power to a customer that had it for like 20-something years. We said a PX, he said, man, that thing sounds so beautiful. It's so soft. It's so quiet. It's this.
Right.
So you have to listen to the parts of the equipment.
Another key thing too I'm going to mention here is that it's critical to, when you replace your UPS or make that consideration, is the load on your UPS.
Yes. How much work is it doing?
Right.
75%? 80%?
Yes. And what growth plans do you have in the future? We see this time and time again with some of our service contracts where something will happen with the UPS that requires a troubleshoot. One of the very first questions I ask, especially if it's moving towards a machine replacement, is what's their load?
Yeah.
And in some of these cases, customers are running like 5% load. I mean, you're losing efficiency big time.
You are.
When you're running on the low side. And of course, if you're on the high side, it's the same thing, because you're
if you're only
overworking.
using 20%, man, your UPS is going to be good.
Yeah.
It's going to be longevity. It's the same thing, and I have to tie this in because it means so much to us. Hiking. How much are you carrying will show performance, will show the longevity of the hiker.
Yeah, I mean, endurance.
You were carrying 40.
Until you start packing rocks, yeah.
Yeah. Claude is that guy. Like, we go, so it's, when I go down hiking, I'm carrying more because we have food and water and all that. Claude goes down like 25 pounds. He comes back 40. And it's not because of all the food he ate. It's because he's carrying about 25, 30 pounds of rock, and he's trained for it. But I was like, man, you are like robbing Grand Canyon with all these rocks. You're just killing them. And I'm like, how are you like functioning that you got like more weight on you than my 8-year-old child.
Can I answer that?
Go ahead. Wait, I want Cassandra. Cass. Sorry,
I roasted him
Cassandra.
earlier for pronouncing my name wrong, so now he says it right.
Cassandra.
Okay.
I was just gonna say that he's just rocking it. He's rocking the hike.
He's built different. He is. And I'm like, Claude, you are a man. Like, he's got rocks on. And you know what's the funniest thing? No one would know besides me. When I say, Claude, I'm tired, can we take a rest? Or he'll say, let's have a rest in a quarter mile. Sure. He takes out all his rocks every time and he starts doing inventories. Like, I don't need this one. I don't need that one. I'm like, and in my mind, I'm like, dude, you just carried an extra 2 pounds, 5 pounds of rocks that you eventually gonna throw. Well, he's just a machine.
Well, let me answer your question.
Go ahead.
It's 2 words.
Okay.
2 words makes that happen. Mental toughness.
You are.
Okay,
but it's the training, it's the mental toughness. But it's great to see.
Yeah, because I'm really not thinking about the weight when I do that.
No, but you're built for it because you trained for it.
Yeah, what I'm thinking about is the outcome of what I'm going to do with those rocks.
Yeah, give me some and then you take the rest. I'm gonna let you carry it. He caught me on a thing. He's like, we've been using this 1 cup to boil water. And at the last time I used it, I said, Claude, I want to gift this to you. He's like, no, you just want to have me carry more weight. I'm like, well, that too, I guess, if you want to do that. But here's a gift. Because he doesn't struggle going up. And he takes on like half of the Grand Canyon, like I said, and it doesn't faze him. But this hike was the first one that it was the first time I saw me and him finally chill at the same pace the entire time because of the type of hike it is. But the whole point is the load and how you carry, and that it's so important. You don't want to get a UPS and you're going to be using 80-90% of it. It won't give you the 10 to 14 years we're talking about.
And then the flip
in
side
life.
of it too, you don't need the UPS if you're only going to run 5%.
You don't need a UPS if you're only running 5.
Now, if you have growth plans, this is where that's where this whole modular scenario comes in.
You still do need a UPS. It's just the load changes.
Yes, but you can you can upgrade. You can add to in a modular scenario.
That's what I love about modular.
Yeah, over the course of time.
And you can even take away, because if you're removing servers, if you're removing devices, you can, if you have a 40K, you can go to 20. Yeah. And great. And you can leave the batteries because that still gives you a lot of runtime, and you just keep the power away. Because I don't think anyone really cares not to have runtime. Runtime is a great safety net. So yeah, you want to hit some of those, or
yeah, let me hit one other point because I don't want to forget this. The other piece of this is downtime. Okay, due to lack of parts, and I say lack of parts, it doesn't mean that the parts aren't available. It just takes time to find the parts because they're more and more scarce. Meanwhile, your UPS is down. Okay, and you're not making sales, you're not making any money when your UPS is down because power is out, right? So you start adding up all those costs every time those events occur. I think you're going to wind up with enough money to reinvest in a more reliable system.
And then you also put yourself in a really bad place of making a brash decision of buying something you may not have necessarily needed, or it was the wrong part. Yeah. Or you're so focused on your downtime. And like, oh my gosh, I need this part. And I've had customers order the wrong thing. I've had customers and not order everything needed, only one of the 2 or one of the certain amount. So you don't want to catch yourself in a downtime situation like that, because you will make. I mean, Justin had that good conversation one time where he said, my UPS is down, it's done, it blew up, or whatever the case. And he's like, okay, well, here's what I have here. And he's like, oh, wait, well, actually this and this. So the downtime is really important, that you have that equipment available, the parts, you have a resource saying, okay, I have these for you.
Yeah, and most companies track that. Yeah. So it's our job. And when I say our job, the business profession that we're in, it's our job to minimize downtime for the customer and give them ways to do that. So
I think we do that at a great rate. Gruber does.
Okay, back on this again. I don't need to Google it, but I want to give everyone else a chance. Okay, he's talking about the backdrop there. YouTube again. Yes, Gruber Power should advertise a sunglass holder too. And then Highlander again. Yeah, the centerpiece shells are back.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. And I thought it was Cassie.
Your name?
It's not. I don't actually go by Cassie.
Do you
go by
hate it?
Cass. I do.
Okay.
And I asked you that because my wife too, when people give her a nickname, I'm like inside, I cringe. I'm like, oh man, you just like started like she's like, how dare they call me that?
Well, my birth mom hated the name Cassie, and so anytime somebody tried to call me Cassie, she would go, no, it's Cassandra. And so it's just ingrained in my brain.
Yes,
and
Highlander, it's Cassandra. Okay, it's Cassandra, not Cassie
or Cass. Cass works too.
I know, that's how I met you, as Cass. I was like, okay, cool, good name. Okay, now what else we jumping on?
Well, we're kind of like on the same subject here of when. So we talked about load, we talked about parts, in terms of, the frequency of replacement. We talked about the scarcity of parts.
Yes.
All that type of thing. So all those factors like consider into the when question. And when it gets to that point in the life cycle, we should be having those conversations with our customer.
But all the parts you mentioned, caps, fans, IGBTs, my favorites are the PCBs, printed circuit boards, the power supply.
Why? Because they last forever?
Well, 40, 50 years. Yeah. They have the longest skin in the game. We have all that. And that's the point I wanted to make. All these things, we have sources, resources, vendors, and we have a huge parts room. I've worked for 2 different groups with parts, and this one is fantastic as well, because you guys have more than I've dealt with in the past. So it's great because you have what I wanted. So we have the resources that we're not leaving you out hang to dry. Say, hey, here's the life expectancy of all these parts. Good luck finding them. No, guess what? We found a really good approach and niche market to provide to our customers, so then they can keep their unit going, and then they're not losing money. They're not throwing caution to the wind and money to the wind, where, hey, look, all you do need to do is change a fan, not an entire UPS or so forth. So there is really great options, and Gruber has that for the parts, for the batteries, and the UPS. Yeah,
and the other thing too that I want to mention, I think that gets overlooked. One thing I stress with our field engineering team is our jobs also are to minimize interruptions.
Yes.
And interruptions don't necessarily mean that your power went out. Okay, interruptions are things that you can replace along the way, parts that you can replace along the way where the customer has to be involved and you have to schedule something with them, and it interrupts their ability to do their jobs. Okay, so I stress that too. It's like, how can we minimize the number of interruptions we would have, on a site? That's pretty critical too. And that doesn't always equate to downtime where you've lost power. Okay. Hi guys, I was building business.
Daniel Tayon.
Yeah, I was building business like you had. I was a Schneider electric contractor. It was great going, but all finished when Chinese stuff took over.
Who's this Daniel Tayon?
I don't know who that is.
Let us know where you're from. So you were saying that you were a Schneider electric contractor and it was going great, and then Chinese stuff took over and kind of put you out of the game.
He then goes on to ask us if we can open a branch in the EU.
Oh, okay. I get that. Daniel, well, if you're in the EU, okay, I could understand why Chinese, because in the US, we're still very, I want to say dominant. We're still very relevant. We have an entire department, Gruber Power Services, because I don't see that as an issue for us. And
well, I think he's talking about the actual part integration, where the parts are being manufactured.
Maybe, or him as an electrical contractor, because he's an electrical contractor, so I'm not sure on what side he would just do the hard wiring and that side. So yeah, I'd be interested to know more on your side. You can even email us and reach out to us, or if you're interested, you can contact us even, and I'm interested to know more on that side, especially if you're on that side of the world.
And thank you for chiming in.
Amazing. Yeah, that was I'm very curious. You have me super curious on per your comment.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Claude. What else we got? Key decision-making considerations.
Yeah, we kind of covered that already.
Okay.
The variety of things that we talked about. We did. We kind of bounced all over the place there. But again, I just want to bring it back to what the topic of discussion was, and that was when to replace your UPS, or the timing surrounding it, and some of the considerations and questions that you could ask. Also want to reiterate that we do offer a site visit service at no cost to the customer.
Yep.
You can come out, we can look at your site, bring a field engineer with us, be the account manager or field engineer, and they could walk your site and give you insight into what's going on there. Yeah. All right, Elvis, you put this next section together.
Ooh, we're going straight to.
Yeah, explain a little bit on what we're getting ready to hit here.
So this is Did You Know?
Mm-hmm.
So me and Claude were brainstorming a good amount of episodes back, and we're like, yeah, I want to do something, within the show. And I remember that The More You Know commercial, and they would like just drop some random cool knowledge on you or something really inspiring or profound. And then you came up with, let's just call it Did You Know? And I'm like, I love that. And could be technology, it could be UPS, it could be, last time we pulled a lot of Grand Canyon hikes since we were there, and we did a great trail. And this time we did You Know? And I came up with something really cool, inspiring. And it's because Gruber Power makes up of so many different people. We're such a great hodgepodge and great group of individuals. Very diverse, very fun, very cool. I mean, everyone has from some background. We have Germans, we have from Asia, we have from so many different parts of the globe.
You have people like me too.
Yeah, you're from Grand Canyon.
Yeah,
You were made by the Grand Canyon rocks, the way you work. So correct. I lost.
Yeah, right there. We're gonna give you an introduction.
Mm-hmm. Jesse, I can't hear myself at all no more.
Yeah.
You too? Claude, can you hear yourself?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
I
Yeah,
can't.
that one probably has batteries that just died on you.
Oh.
Let me get you a couple.
Okay. So yeah, I can't hear much, but so we're doing Did You Know? What I decided to do is myself and Claude, and then the production team. I found out where they grew up, they were born, something along that, and we took 2 facts from each city or state where they're from, and we decided to. Thank you. And I decided just to look up some random cool facts about their city and state, and we're just gonna state them. We're gonna give it up.
Yeah. So the first one there is.
So the first one is, I'm gonna go, since I'm running it. It's me, Elvis, and I was born in a different country. I was born in Romania. My family's all from there. All my other 7 siblings, out of the 8 of us, 2 are born here. The rest are in Romania. Huge family, extended family in Romania.
55 first cousins, right?
55 first cousins that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I know around.
Yeah.
And here are some cool facts. So the Romanian language is 1,700 years old. So my language, which was from the Romans and the Dutch, we're over 1,700 years old. And Romania has the heaviest building in the world, and the second largest parliament building in the world, and it has the heaviest building ever. And it is the palace of our old dictator Ceausescu. Thank you. Awesome. And it is 9.4 billion. I said billion pounds.
So let's get this.
Weight.
Let's get this right. Romania has the heaviest building
palace
in the world.
Yes, and it is 9.4 billion pounds, which is 4.10 million tons, and it is the second largest administrative building in the world. And it takes the second place because first place, it's in U.S. And I want to hear someone rattle off if they know where. Where do you think it's at? Because I don't think you know this one.
Empire State Building?
No. It's, I don't want to give
What state is it in?
I'm not going to tell you because then you'll know. But it's a government building, and that's all I'm going to give.
Wait a minute, say the question one more time.
So the palace of my old president, dictator in Romania, it's the heaviest building in the world. 9.4 billion pounds, and it's the second largest in the world for an admin parliament building. The first is in the U.S., and it's huge, and everyone knows of it, but we would never think it. It's the first
Pentagon.
Largest in the world. Bam. The Pentagon. There it is. That's the largest admin building in the world.
I should have guessed that
Romania
first.
took second. I love it. I'll take that one. And then we also... Yeah, and it's 12 stories, the house in Romania. The Parliament House, it's a palace. It's 12 stories high, and it holds the world record, the Guinness World Record.
Okay.
Claude, you got the next one. Did you print this out? Can you? I want you to say yours.
You're going to have to read that because the print is so small.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Can I do this for you, or can you see it or no?
I can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Claude is born and raised or raised?
No, I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay.
But I was raised in 𝐓𝐢𝐭𝐦𝐻𝐿, Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 𝐓𝐢𝐭𝐦𝐻𝐿, Washington was the first site 𝐓𝐢𝐭𝐦𝐻𝐿, Washington is known for, was the site of many firsts. Okay. First incorporated community in Washington territory.
Yeah, it's the oldest town in Washington State.
Yep. And it's also it's the oldest town in Washington State in 1854, which now I think has like over 6,000 residents only.
Yes.
It's a small little town. It's the first brick building north of Columbia River, which was the first official jail in Pierce
You know
County.
what's really cool about that town, about my town?
Go ahead.
Is, I still go back there, obviously, because my mother still lives in the same house.
Yeah. How old is your mom?
My mom's 96.
Amazing.
But every time I go back there, I always make it a point to walk. And I walk all the way down to the water. It takes
That's
probably
awesome.
like 20 minutes to get down to the Puget Sound. And nothing has changed. It's like, it's the same way it was when I was a little kid.
You go back to like
I do.
the past.
And it's so refreshing to me to see that, because things have changed with light speed, right? But when I go back home, it's like I can like stop in time almost. Mom still lives there. Street still looks the same. Amazing.
And in that region in Washington, in that county area, it had the first Protestant church building.
Yeah. And
Very cool.
And just real quick, 𝐓𝐢𝐭𝐦𝐻𝐿 actually connects on to Tacoma. It's like it connects right
next
onto
to
the
it.
big city. Yeah.
Correct. Okay, next we are doing Cassandra Cass, and she's not even here to hear about Batavia, Illinois.
Batavia, isn't that a beer?
No. I mean, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, she had to step out, but she will make sure to send her this clip.
Awesome. So, during the latter part of the 19th century, Batavia, home of the 6 American-style windmill company factories. So it's like the front line, and it takes the ship for windmills, for the manufacturing, and the nickname is called the Windmill City for Batavia,
Okay.
which I never knew that part. And the title was earned because of the industrial role, because they manufactured the most windmills. And one fact I do know about Batavia, because it's in Illinois and I'm from Chicago, I grew up in Chicago 28 years, even though I was born in Romania, was it has a river that I used to go fish at like crazy, which is like the key river. They're called Fox River. I grew up at that river. Picnics, family, everything. So it has a great river. And a really cool fact about Batavia that a lot of people don't know. Mary Todd Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln's wife, this is a pretty crazy fact too. She committed her son into the Bellevue, Batavia psychiatric hospital after her husband was killed. And it was in Batavia.
Her son?
Yeah, her son was admitted there because of when Abraham Lincoln was shot.
I think she followed him shortly too. She became mentally deranged herself. Yeah.
But that's where she committed her son, to the Bellevue place. That's what it's called. Now we're just gonna break it down to Aaron. The next 3 people were all in Arizona, so I had to figure out a few things. Aaron, Richard, and Jesse are all from Arizona, Phoenix, parts like that. Woo! So for Aaron, this is easy.
Gang.
Yeah, this is easy. The trifecta, the tripod. So Phoenix is located in a wet green desert. Never knew that fact.
Yeah, it's one of the wettest. Has the most rainfall out of all the deserts in the world.
And Greater Phoenix is located on very notable, the Sonoran Desert. So we're actually inside the Sonoran Desert, is what Phoenix says. Now, Claude, this one, I'm sorry, I apologize, but I'm about to burst your bubble. So Phoenix is actually lower than the Grand Canyon.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, it is. It's 1,800 feet above sea level, something like that.
Yeah. So when we went that 8,000 feet down, Phoenix is 2,400 feet even lower than where we were at.
Yeah.
So, this is our best hike ever.
The lowest point in the Grand Canyon is 2,000 feet above sea level.
Yeah. So, and Phoenix is which is an elevation of 2,400. Now, we're jumping to Richard's part of the facts. And that is approximately 80% of Arizona land comprises of forests, parks, wilderness, Indian reservations, and wildlife preserves. In addition, Arizona is home of the world's, I never knew this in my life, it says Sky Islands, which are mountains surrounded by the valleys that boast the ecosystem of plants. It's called the Sky Islands because of all the mountains that are so high in the sky, and they have such a vast ecosystem. It's considered a sky island.
Okay.
Which is really cool. Now I want to list off some really cool stuff, and then we're going to go to Jesse's about Arizona. If you guys knew, what is the state tree of Arizona?
Palo Verde.
Got him. If you guys know, and do you know what Palo Verde means? Green stick.
Okay.
In Spanish. What is the state bird?
Cardinal.
Nope.
Cactus wren.
Roadrunner.
Cactus wren. He knew it, Roadrunner. That's a lazy bird. Cactus wren, he got it. State flower.
Is it the saguaro flower?
Saguaro, yeah.
Yes. You guys are on point. State fossil. You know this.
State fossil?
State fossil.
Oh, petrified wood.
Yes. That's the one. I was so happy when I saw that. I was like,
got that one, buddy.
Claude. Yeah, he knows. I was like, Claude's going to get an A. And then we have state gemstone.
I would say peridot.
No, with a T.
With a T.
Yep. It's not a turtle.
Oh, I know it. Turquoise.
Turquoise. There he is.
Yeah.
State mineral. Never knew this one. Sounds really cool though.
Copper.
No. Wolfenite.
Wolfenite. I have some of that too.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
and
rock.
then my favorite one, the state neckwear. Think about it.
Bolo tie.
Richard is on point. And this was under yours, so I'm happy you knew it, Richard. I was like, this guy better know it, dude. Bolo ties are fancy, man. That's a great way to go hang out and go to church.
Okay.
I like it.
And then
now,
last but not least, who?
the one and only Jesse. Camp Verde. Explain, Jesse, why Camp Verde you picked, so they have an idea why you picked Camp Verde, though.
That's where I went to high school. That's where I was raised. I was born in Flagstaff, but I was raised there.
Okay. As the oldest community in the valley, the town has a unique history dating back to 1860s. Settlers began migrating to Camp Verde first because of the mining industry and the mining fields, which one of our hikes, we saw a whole mining section, and they had all these old mining artifacts from years ago. The first military establishment was temporary overlooking by Camp Verde. Over the years, the community has been recognized as protecting and preserving the historic site. So Camp Verde is like designated to protect the state park, to Grand Canyon. And a really cool thing, so tourist attractions include the Montezuma Castle National Monument. And because of Camp Verde and because of Grand Canyon, we read that it has over 6.4 million tourists a year.
Yeah.
Which is the second most for a national park ever. And also, the Cliff Castle Casino, operated by the Yavapai Nation, is the Indian tribe. It's important for how they survive, and because of the Indian reservation, a lot of the Camp Verde sites have those exits, and you can go there. So Camp Verde they built Camp Verde in a way to keep Grand Canyon and the places running. Even when we drove past it, we saw over there Cameron. I mean, there were people. I saw people from out of the country more than I even saw locals.
All over the world.
Everywhere. So Camp Verde, Cameron, Page, all these towns were built and made to where it brings in people for Grand Canyon. And it is just a gorgeous place. And Jesse, we've driven past Camp Verde every time almost for Grand Canyon. It's gorgeous and it's beautiful. So it's really cool just to get an idea of where we all come from, and we're a diverse group with all different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And that is all I got.
Okay. Nice segment there.
Amazing.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
So we're going to close out the show, but just want to let you know we have a week, and our goal is 1,000. So anything and everything that you guys can do to help us get there between now and the 27th would be extremely helpful to us, and we can raffle off that TV. And again, just a reminder, we do have a guest coming on the show next week that I think you're really going to enjoy.
Yes. Thank you, and have a great one.
Have a good one.